I am live. Oh boy, I got my webcam working. Yes, I did. Finally, they moved things around. I couldn't find it for a while, so I have it now. So here we go. No one's here yet, of course. So what am I going to do? Like a tune. Might tune something. Let's see. What am I going to tune? I'll tune something. Well, it'd help if I had my tuning lever. Well, I guess I'm going to go get my tuning lever. I'm going to borrow someone else's tuning lever here. Tuning lever. Ooh. Ah. Drop it. Ooh. Ah. Someone's here. Someone's here. Say hi so I know who you are. If you feel like it. Otherwise, you can just lurk. But, say hi. Pretty please. Pretty please. So I can tell someone's here, but I can't tell who is here. So let's see. What do I want to do? I can tune something or hi, San Francisco. Hi. Thanks for coming. Do you have any questions or do you want me to do anything before a whole bunch of people get here? Or if you don't have any questions right away, you can holler out notes. I'll start from F3 and I'll tune in any order you want, if you feel like it. Leona Leonard. Oh, there's 3 people here. Who else is here? Say hi. Say hello to me. Hi, it's me, Leona. Yay, no questions yet. Okay. Well, if no one has questions, anyone can holler out notes for me to tune. I'm not wearing my glasses. Hi, piano tuner from Cape Breton Island here. Cool. I should know where that is. I feel stupid now. Cape Breton Island. Where is Cape Breton? Where is that? I'm thinking north. It's north, I think. Anyway, so there's 3 people here, it says. Does anyone want me to tune anything in particular? Do you want to holler out notes or you want me to just tune some stuff until someone has a question? East coast of Nova Scotia. I was thinking, okay, yes. Thank you for telling me. Cape Breton. Cool. East coast of Nova Scotia. We've always wanted to go there because my husband's Scottish. He's from, his family is from the Orkney Islands, north of Scotland. And he lived 2 years in France, so he speaks French. So I think he would do well in Nova Scotia, although the accent's quite different. All right, well, no one's asking any questions or saying anything, so I might tune something. Does anyone want to holler out notes for me to tune randomly? I got my webcam working. Look at this. I'm so excited. Lucky. Ho, ho, ho. I have a webcam. Yay, I'm going to put it up brighter. Boop, boop. There I am. Kind of, sort of. Maybe. There we go. I'm French Acadian. Yay! How cool! Yeah. You could speak with my hubby. I, unfortunately, do not speak French. I know a few words. So let's see. I'm going to tune something until somebody asks me a question. Oh. Ah. Oh, wait. That's okay. I can lower it. Let me see. That's good. I'm lowering F. Let me see what my octave is like. I don't want to lower it much. I think I'll raise B flat instead. still fine. Does anyone have any questions yet? Any questions? Anyone want me to, if you want me to tune any particular orders, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and tune. I swear I do. Who's tuning? I tune by fifths. Yeah, you can tune fifths, fourths, whatever you want. I started out with fifths and fourths here. That's how I started. Let's see. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. So do you want me to tune by fifths? Is that what you want me to do? Oh, hi. There's more people here. Hey, Maggie. I tried RL tuning for the first time about a week ago and made it to step 7 in Baldus and Sanderson. Very nice, which I didn't understand until I stepped back and thought about it later. Yeah, if you just go through the sequences, that doesn't really give you all the troubleshooting information. Sequences are nice, but you got to know more about how to use them other than to go through them. Harry emailed me a document with the guide. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. I should try that. I have never used that sequence. So someone said go up a fifth or down. So let's see. Who asked me about fifths? Neo, you tune by fifths. So do you go up a fifth and down a fourth? Is that what you do? Let me know if that's what you do. You can do that, but correct. Yay. Okay, well, let's do that. So I've already tuned my fifth. Oh, wait. That G's a little too flat. I'll come back to it. So I'm going to leave that where it is then, because this is kind of close to pure. You want this to be about 8 beats a second. So I can go up a fifth and down a fourth, but in the end, my thirds have to progress. And if you just go up a fifth and down a fourth, but where am I? Then you haven't touched any thirds. So what you have to do is you have to check things as you go. And you use fast beating intervals to do that. So I have my fifth. I can measure it. That's a little narrow because my major third is slower than my minor third. If you can't hear that very well, you can check it at the first coincident partial. Sorry, I'm off the screen. It's this down an octave. Very close to pure, but I'm narrow at the second. Let me see this G. I don't like this G. So I'm going to put my lever back on G. I have to raise it just a little. I can tell if it's wide or narrow. The sixth is faster. That means it's wide, but it's a lot wide. And when I first started tuning this, the major third was actually beating faster than the sixth. So my fourth was inverted. It was actually narrow instead of wide. And I didn't have to move the G to know that. I apologize if I'm saying something you already know, but some people don't know this. So major third, major sixth. Actually, I take it back. Oh, there it is. Now I hear it. Come on. probably still too wide. Let me check my fifth now. I could come up a little more. That was too far. See, now I'm inverted again. Come on. This piano is so difficult. It's going to keep doing this to me. Let's leave it there. Okay, so I knew my D was pretty good because I'd already tuned it. That should be about 8 beats a second. If anything, it's a little slow. Oh, somebody asked me a question. Do these types of tests work across all methods of tuning an equal temperament? Absolutely. 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 So anytime, let me just talk about the checks I've been using so far, and then we'll tune some more. But with a fifth, there's two coincident partials we pay attention to. Let me get my camera a little higher here. There we go. There's two coincident partials we pay attention to, the first and the second. The first one is here. So I can ghost it if I hold these down. And I have the check note for that is this note right here. So I have two fast beating intervals. That's pure to almost wide, but I can ghost them by holding this down. You might not be able to hear that on YouTube, but it's there. And then here. So let me active ghosting. I'm going to play it and ghost it. It's a little slower, so I'm just barely narrow. It's really close to pure. So that's how I'm measuring my fifth. I've explained how these work, which I can do again, but let me do that in a minute. So fourths, I haven't tuned that fourth yet. I tuned this fourth. And I tuned this fourth. So with a fourth, the coincident partials up here, and I can use this as my check note. So greetings from Valencia, California. Hello. Hello, Alan. Alan. Hi, Alan. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Alan does not need to be here. He is already a piano genius, but it's really sweet that he comes because I feel supported. Thank you. Okay. So I can ghost this as well. Let's see, where was I? I was here. I can ghost my major third. I can active ghost it. And then the sixth. Where am I here? I lost my place again. So see, that's faster. So that means it's white. If they're equal beating, it's pure. Therefore, let me explain this without my strips for a second. So with the fourth, if the major third and the sixth are equal beating, it means it's a pure fourth. I can explain that more in a minute. But so if this is pure and I want to widen it, I can either lower my G or raise my C. So if I lower my G, I slow down this major third. Or if I raise my C, I speed up this sixth. And in either case, I end up with the same result. The major third is slower than the major sixth. So that means it's wide. This is a bit of Kyle Andrews. Hi, Maggie. I had a question about piano meter. Sometimes the fundamental wheel will be spinning flat. Yeah. Oh, that's a really good question. Okay. I'll come back to that. Let me finish this. Because actually, this is related to your question. So I'll get to that. Let me think. Okay, I'll come back to that. Fifth. So with the fifth, first and second coincident partial, if I'm looking at the first coincident partial, if I want my fifth to be narrow, I can either raise the F or lower the C, because I'm on an F to C fifth. And if I raise the F, I'll speed up this sixth. Or if I lower the C, I will slow down this tenth. So either case, the sixth is faster than the tenth if the fifth is narrow. Now with the minor third, same effect, because a minor third is a narrow interval to begin with. So if I make it wider, I'm bringing it closer to pure, it will slow down. Athens, Georgia represented. Hello. Oh, hello, music. Hi. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. So if these are equal beating, I am now I'm off the I'm up there where you can't see. I'm at C6. That's the second coincident partial. Wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Checking myself. Oh. Okay, so if these are equal beating. Oh, that's nice. You can really hear that, or at least I can. If these are equal beating, I'm pure at the second coincident partial. I want my fifth to be narrow. If I lower the C, I will slow down my major third. If I raise my F, I will slow down. I will speed up. I will speed up the minor third because it's a narrow interval to begin with. So if I make it more narrow, I'm further away from pure, it will speed up. So in either case, if I raise my F or lower my C, my minor third becomes faster than my major third. I hope I said that right. I always say things backwards. It's just the way it is. So anyway, now I will start to explain this, and then I will answer the second question, which is a really good question. Got to get my little strips here. Okay, so this is my, let me put my camera higher. Boop. Boop. That'll work. So this is my, harmonic series strip. And I have the harmonics marked. I can put it on any note, but I'm going to put it on C for the moment. Okay. So C, C, G, C, E, G, yada, yada, yada. And this is a strip that has inharmonicity. So the partials on this strip, it visually represents what's happening. It's not real, but it visually represents what's happening. The partials are going sharp. So as you can see, they don't line up. And as I go up, the partials line up less and less. They get further and further away until, look, this one is, supposed to be that one. So this helps us see what happens with inharmonicity. So, and that's what has to do with the piano meter question as well. So let's go back to my fifth. I'll explain. I'll get there. So back to the fifth. So if I have it pure at the first coincident partial, which is this one. Actually, let me go to the one I tuned, F to C. Let me go to this one. If I had it pure, because it's not quite right, but if I have it pure at the first coincident partial, which it actually is close. Let me listen to that again. Yeah, that's really close to pure. Okay, so, but what happens at my second coincident partial? A fifth, the ratio is 3:2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The first coincident partial is also the ratio of the interval. That's not why, but it's part of the picture. So the second coincident partial of fifth is double of that. So it's 6:4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm right here. They don't line up. The partial from my lower note, which is F3, is sharp of the coincident partial from my upper note C, C4. Okay, so my fifth is narrow at the second coincident partial when it is pure at the first. And that will apply to any interval. If I do this with an octave, now I'm from C3 to C4 here, just visually. Ratio of an octave is 2:1. First coincident partial is 1, 2, 1. It's right here. Okay. So if I line up the first coincident partial, I am now narrow at every coincident partial following. The partial from C3 up here, 2 to 1, you double it, you get 4 to 2. The fourth partial from C3 is now sharp, and of the partial from C4, which is flatter. So my octave is narrow at the second coincident partial, and it's even more narrow at the third, and it just keeps getting more narrow as you go up. So if I were to tune this, and I'm not going to show you the checks right now, but if I were to tune this pure at the second coincident partial, now I'm wide at the first, but I'm still narrow at the third and fourth. If I tune it pure at the third, I am wide at the first and second. And a side note, every time you want to know a coincident partial, you just add the ratio of the interval back into itself. So 2 to 1, 1, 2 to 1. The next one is 4 to 2, but you add 2 to 1 into it. So the next one's 6 to 3. The next one is 8 to 4. All right. So this is why we stretch, because you cannot tune an octave pure except at one coincident partial at a time. And it's rare that we can tune a 2 to 1 to octave, especially in the mid-range or in the bass. That's not going to happen pretty much. So we say we stretch them. So it actually is pure at a coincident partial. It's just a higher coincident partial. So it is stretched to be closer to pure higher up, in a nutshell. So before I talk about that, let me get to piano meter now. So what's happening with piano meter? Inharmonicity is not regular. It is rarely regular. On the highest, best pianos, it might be. You can even have, so on pianos, inharmonicity is in almost every instrument there is. And it's positive or negative inharmonicity. Pianos tend to be positive inharmonicity, meaning it goes sharp. Okay. But there's other things that go flat. Marimbas, flat. Carillon bells, flat. They have negative inharmonicity. Now, what can happen on a piano, and it's been measured. In fact, Rick Baldisson, I know he has measured this. I can't remember how, but he wrote an article about it. So you can look this up in a journal if you can find it. Rick Baldisson and someone else talked about negative inharmonicity. But there can be strings that either have negative inharmonicity or irregular inharmonicity. It happens all the time. So what will happen, let me get another strip here. Let's see, which one do I want? Hold on. Let's see what this one's like. This one looks good. Let's see what this one's like. So now I'm going to line these all up together for a second. Boop. That one's going to be a little out of whack. So if this is 0 inharmonicity, this one is positive inharmonicity. Let me see if I can line that up on my camera. And this one is negative inharmonicity. Can you see how I've made it to where the partials go a little flat as you go up? So let's say you have a string, and it usually happens with a bass string, but it can happen anywhere. Wait, let me look at the question. Fundamental will be blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so what can happen is on the string, you have irregular inharmonicity. So the wheel that's spinning that's looking at the partials, it might have a negative partial on that first or second partial, but then all of a sudden switch to positive again, or vice versa, or just any one of these partials, because of some weird thing with the string or the bridge or the bridge pin or a fleck of dust or mouse poop or something. Something is causing the string to be messed up. And so you get irregular inharmonicity. And when you read that, you can read that on piano meter. You'll see it with the dials, with piano scope. I know there's a way to see it with the little lines that come up, but I can't remember how. And with TuneLab, you can actually measure it. You measure the note. It gives you a chart with the inharmonicity, positive, negative. You'll see some negatives sometimes. So that's why. I hope that answered the question. If it didn't, let me know. Does anyone else have another question? Oh, there's 10 people here. Hello. Adrian, in Dan Levitan's book, I love Dan Levitan, there is a definition for interval inharmonicity, which is distinct and separate from the inharmonicity of a single note. Okay. I have not read that, but I'm pretty sure I know what he means. So if you want me to talk about that, I can. I'm not sure I will be identical to him. If I understand, interval inharmonicity. So, for example, so a note has inharmonicity. That's what this thing represents. Whoops. Let me take this one out for a minute. So interval inharmonicity is kind of what I was talking about, but it's how they line up. So let's say I have a fifth, okay? And I can tune it like pure at the first coincident partial. But, okay, let's look at like the stereotypical what's correct. What should happen? This is what should happen with a fifth, all right? With a fifth, the lower note, with any interval, the lower note of the interval has a head start on inharmonicity. That's how I like to describe it. It has a jump on inharmonicity. It's going sharp sooner. Therefore, it's going to be sharp of the note above it. Even though the note above it does have inharmonicity, they're not going to line up perfectly because the lower note got a good start first. So with normal inharmonicity, and I tune my fifth, this is what I showed you. I tune my fifth or any interval pure at the first coincident partial. It will be narrow at the second. That's any interval. That's how it's going to work. So an interval inharmonicity, now we're talking about the irregular inharmonicities interacting. This is what I think Dan might be talking about. I'd have to actually read the page to know that for sure. But so let's say on this piano, I have a sudden drop in inharmonicity on the lower note. Let's say this is my first wound string, and all of a sudden the inharmonicity is like way less than what it's. No, that would be way more. Well, for whatever reason. Let's say I'm in the low tenor and I have a sudden drop in inharmonicity. It happens. It happens usually in the low tenor, but it can happen anywhere. So then I get the reverse effect. If I tune my fifth pure at the first coincident partial, I am now wide at the second. So this fifth has a different inharmonicity than different inharmonic characteristics than, say, a fifth higher up that might fit the definition more. So let's say my F to C has normal, let's say F and C, F3, C4 have normal inharmonicity, meaning parallel inharmonicity, very similar inharmonicity where they're both going sharp at about the same rate. Then I get the normal effect. But if I get a sudden drop in inharmonicity somewhere else, somewhere lower, all of a sudden now everything is upside down. I've tuned my fifth pure at the first coincident partial. It's wide at the second. Oh my God, I'm going to freak out. So what you got to do is tune the fifth at the second coincident partial and just make it either not really pure, but just hinting at narrow. And it'll be, let me make my visual here. So I've tuned it pure at my second coincident partial or a little narrow, and it'll be a lot narrow at the first. Often that's what will work in those situations, but it really depends on the piano. And let's say I have a situation where I have an extreme jump downward in inharmonicity. So now if I tune it pure at the first coincident partial, I'm insanely narrow at the second, like crazy. So I'd have to tune my second pure and I'd be like crazy narrow at the first. This can happen. And then let's say I have the opposite. Let's say I have a sudden jump in inharmonicity in my lower note that's like way more than the others. So now if I tune it pure at the first coincident partial, I'm still in the fifth here. Where am I? I'm here. Now it's like, it's so wide at the second, it's insane. So I'll bring it back to pure at the second, and now I'm like insanely narrow at the first. So I think that's what Dan might be referring to from what little I know of what you just wrote. If that's not what he's talking about, then I apologize, but this is still a thing, so it's okay. So I'm assuming he's talking about that. I need to go back and look it up. Is it the Craft of Piano Tuning book? Yes, I think it's along those lines. Okay, I'll have to go look. I'm assuming it's something like that. Are there any more questions? I got 13 people. Woohoo! Say hi. If you haven't said hi, say hi. Unless you really just want to be anonymous and lurk, that's okay too. Are there any other questions about aural tuning? I will explain what I would. Let me see. Who was it? J Apple Films. I know who that is. J Apple Films. I'm going to explain some things for you until someone asks another question. So let me get my non-inharmonicity strips here. But I need 3 of them. Hold on. I gotta find another one. There's another one. Barkles. Like sparkles, but Barkles. Hi, Jared. I know you're Jared. You said Harry. I was like, oh, it's Jared. Yay. Barkles. Hey, thanks for this. So interesting. I'm slowly understanding. Oh, good. Yay. If there's things here you don't get, I back way up in my music theory for piano technicians playlist. And I only now realized there were some videos that in my mind I thought I made and I haven't made them. So I need to get to those. But I'll try to get to those. So yay. All right. So I'm going to explain something for Jared. Let me, and I've explained this before, but it's important. So let's look at an octave. Let's look at an octave. Now there's no inharmonicity in these strips. So we're just lining these up. Okay. And I might pull the other one down in a minute, but what I want you to understand is how checks work. Jared, do you already know how checks work? I'm going to start explaining it. Somebody here might not. So if I'm measuring an octave, let's say at the second coincident partial. So I'm on C3, C4, and the second coincident partial is C5. So I need a note that will be a fast beating interval because you can tell the difference. You can tell tiny, tiny, tiny differences with fast beating intervals, but you can't with a slow beating interval. And the more you practice this, you'd be shocked at what you can. I am shocked at what I can tell now. There's an online test where you can guess beat rate differences, and I nailed them all. I was like, whoa. I couldn't have done that 10 years ago for sure. To some extent, Harry's demonstrated it for me. Contiguous thirds. No, that's not what I'm talking about. So this is good. This is good. I will talk about it. Barkles, I think to get jump started learning again, I need absolute basics of inharmonicity. Where should I start? Okay. I have some of that on my playlist. Let me think about that. I'm going to come back to that. Kayerson. Hi, Maggie. Hi. Thanks for encouraging and teaching aural tuning. Yay, in a good way. Oh, I appreciate that. It is so much easier and result is so much better than ETD once you got it. Yeah, it's wild. It's really wild. And you kind of, ETDs are good. They're good, you know. But if you have aural skills, Rick Butler says that an ETD in the hands of an aural tuner is a powerful thing. And I agree. I really agree. If you focus on aural tuning and use an ETD as a tool, not to really tune with, but as a tool, or at the very least, if you're in a hurry, use an ETD and check it aurally. Either extreme, you're going to get a better result. You just are. Unless you've been tuning for forever, like Rick Butler, and then he's just going to get an awesome result regardless. But anyway, okay, C3, C4. I need a fast beating interval that will measure the second coincident partial. And the easiest way to get that is to go down 2 octaves and a major third. I'll explain why. So I'm going to go down 2 octaves and a major third, and I'm going to line up my next partial series there. The 5th partial of the harmonic series is the first one that in equal temperament creates a fast beating interval. So that's why we want the 5th partial, which happens to be 2 octaves and a major third. So the 5th partial from this A flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 2 octaves and a major third, lines up with these 2 partials. All right. So if I want to measure this octave, let me raise this A flat a little bit so you can hear it better. Hold on. That's almost too slow. So if any of you can hear this, you can tell I am narrow at the second coincident partial right now because my major third is faster than my 10th. At least that's what I'm hearing right now. Let me ghost it. Yeah, I was right. Big time. That's really narrow. My piano's never in tune. So anyway, let me show you how this works. If I were to raise this, lower this C and make the major third and the 10th equal beating. What? Oh, good, you can hear it. Thanks for letting me know. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It doesn't come through on the replays later, so I'm always hoping it comes through live at least. So this partial, okay, major third is a wide interval. We temper it wide. It's wide because we temper it wide. That's why. So we are lowering A flat from pure from the C that way, which means this partial is going to come down and be a little lower. Okay. And so these two, both of these are above it because a major third is wide. An octave plus any interval keeps the same quality. So if a major third is wide, an octave in a major third is also wide. So these two partials, my partials from C3 and C4, if they're perfectly aligned, which they are not, but if they were, okay. Oh, thanks for telling me. Appreciate that. If they're perfectly aligned, they will be the exact same distance. These two partials will be the same distance from the fifth partial of the A flat 2 there. Yeah, A flat 2. God. Okay, and so if they're the exact same distance from this partial, they will beat the exact same rate. Therefore, if these two are aligned, same distance from my check note partial, major third and 10th beat the same. Now, in this case, what have I done? I have a 10th that's slower. Okay, let's set this up. So if my 10th is slower, that means the partial from my C4 is closer to the partial from my check note. So I'm going to do that as a visual. I'm not tuning it, I'm doing it. So now the partial from my C4 is flat compared to the partial from my C3. It's closer, C4 partial is closer to the partial from A flat. C3 partial is further away from the partial from A flat. Therefore, the major third beats faster than the 10th, which means I am now narrow at the second coincident partial. I'm going to stop for a second. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about that much? I'm going to wait a second. Think about it. It's a lot of dots. There's a lot to think about. So let me go the other direction. Let me start from pure again. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Let me start from pure there, but the major third and 10th are still wide. I'm equal beating because these are lined up. I want my octave to be wider, or at least a pure. I want it, let's say I want my C3 to C4 octave to be wider than a 4 to 2 octave. Now, when I say 4 to 2, I mean the second coincident partial because it's 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2. So if I say 4 to 2 octave, it means I'm tuning it pure at the second coincident partial. So I want it to be wide of a 4-2, which means wider than pure at the second coincident partials, which means I have to either raise C4 or lower C3 because that makes it wider. It makes them further apart. So if I raise C4, now my partial from C4, my second partial from C4 is further away from the partial of my check note than the partial from C3. Therefore, my 10th will beat faster than my major third. So if the 10th beats faster than the third, the octave is wide at the second coincident partial. That's how these checks work. All right, so a fifth, first coincident partial, boop, we need a check note. Oh, I'm going to ask a question. We need a check note from the first coincident partial from F3 and C4. And you've seen me do it already once. So we need a check note from C5 going down. Does anyone remember what I said? Now I get the ratios. Amazing. There's actually more to the ratios than that, but it's very functional to think of it this way. In fact, I'll explain a little more about the ratios in a minute. That's because I haven't talked about that. That'll be something good for a live stream. I'll come back to that. How long music? This took me a while to get, but after I made my own harmonic strips, it started to make sense. Oh, good. Good. Yeah, harmonic series strips are awesome. So who can tell me what the check note for this is? For this partial. It has to be the first fast beating interval in the harmonic series, which means it's going to be the fifth partial, which is 2 octaves and a major third down. Now I've told you. So no one's typing anything. So C5, I go down. Yay! Wonderful. Good job. Good job, Barkles. Okay, so C5, down an octave, C4, down an octave, C3, major third, A flat. That's why the check note for the first coincident partial of a fifth is a sixth below the fifth. So it creates a sixth here and a 10th here. So let's say my fifth is pure at the first coincident partial. A sixth is a wide interval. And we already talked about it. A flat 2. Yes, thank you. Yay, 2 of you got it. 2 of you got it. A 10th, we already talked, is a wide interval. A sixth is a wide interval. So if these two partials from F and C, third and second partial from F and C, are perfectly aligned, they will be exactly the same with the partial from A flat. So the A flat F will be the same as A flat to C. Okay, A flat 2 to C4. So if I want my fifth narrow, because we want to temper them narrow, I either have to lower C or raise F. Let me raise F right now. Oh, let me just do both. There we go. We don't want to temper it a lot, just a little, but a little bit off. Now my C partial is closer to the partial from the A flat, which means my 10th is going to slow down or beat more slowly than the sixth. The sixth, the third partial of the sixth is further away from the A flat partial compared to the one from the C. So the sixth will beat faster than the 10th. If the sixth beats faster than the 10th, it is proof that my fifth is narrow. And that works with the second coincident partial. It works with a fourth. Let me go over one more thing. Second coincident partial. Let me go over 2 more things. Second coincident partial. We're up here. Same principle. Now, this is, remember, a minor third's a narrow interval. Now we're in a different world, okay? So, let me see if I can do this. Let me think. This is wide. These have to be sharp. This is narrow. That has to be flat. I don't think I can do that with these. I have to think about that. Let's see. It's already tempered. There's limits to these strips. This is tempered this way. This is tempered this way. Oh, yeah, there you go. It works perfectly. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, we're good. I'm sorry. I had to think about it. Okay. So let me do the major third first. A flat partials here. C4 partials here. The major third is tempered wide. The C partial is sharp of the partial from the A flat. Okay? Now, think upside down a little bit. F to A flat, minor interval, it's tempered narrow, which means F comes up, A flat comes down, tempered narrow, which means the partial from the F is sharp of the partial from the A flat. So, if these two partials are perfectly aligned, they will beat exactly the same speed compared to the partial from the A flat. So if these are equal beating, it's a narrow, it's a pure fifth at the second coincident partial. If I want to make it narrow, I can lower C to bring the C partial closer to the A flat, or I can raise F, which pulls the F partial further away from the A flat. So the minor third will speed up, or the major third will slow down. It doesn't matter which one. In either case, if the minor third is faster than the major third, the fifth is narrow. Okay. Now, what was I going to tell you? Wait, somebody said something. Yeah. The strips are awesome. The strips are fabulous. Ratios. Oh, yes. I was going to talk more about ratios just to confuse you a little bit. So let me give you one more aspect of ratios. It is 100% true that the first ratio of any interval is the first coincident partial. Okay, so an octave, 2 to 1, a fifth, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, a fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is true. So if you know the ratio, you know the first coincident partial, or if you know the first coincident partial, you know the ratio, right? But let me back up for a second. I want you just to look at the harmonic series for a second. Okay, we have a harmonic series strip. If I start on C3, that's the first partial. Barkles, joke's on you. I'm already confused. No! I'm sorry. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so C3 to C4, that's an octave. All right. If I look at the upper note, at the partial from the upper note compared to the lower note, I can say this is 1, 2 to 1. Okay. The next interval in the harmonic series is a fifth. A fifth on the harmonic series is the 1, 2 third partial to the second partial on the harmonic series. That's where it falls in the harmonic series. You can't say 3 to 1 because then you'd have a 12th. That's the ratio of a 12. 3 to 1. Okay. So a fifth, 3 to 2. The next interval on the harmonic series is a fourth. So the ratio of a fourth is 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 3. This is where it falls in the harmonic series. All right. Now the next interval in the harmonic series is a major third. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 4. So that's why the numbers are always next to each other. 5 to 4, minor third, 6 to 5. Don't go above that. It gets weird. But, well, you could. It gets weird. There's different sizes of half steps and whole steps as you go up, and it gets very wonky. I don't like to talk about it. It would take forever. But, so what was I saying? No. Yeah, so if you know your harmonic series, you know the ratio of your interval. And like I was saying, the 12th, 1, 2, 3 to 1, 2 octaves, 4 to 1, 2 octaves in a major third, that's a 17th, 5 to 1. Okay, so that's these ratios. A sixth. Let's see. Oh, here's another octave. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 4 to 2 octave. It's in the harmonic series. It's all here. But you could also say 2 to 1. Let me think now. That's a 7th. Somewhere in here there's a 6th. That's a 7th. That's not it. Let me think a second. I haven't thought about this. Somewhere in this, there's a 6th. Oh my God, I feel lame right now. Oh, there I am. Oh. Okay, I feel better now. So a 6th. The ratio is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1, 2, 3. It doesn't happen naturally in the harmonic series. So you've got to skip one, if that makes sense. I need to check with my husband to make sure I'm not losing my mind here. Oh, thank you. You saw it before I did. Yay. You do such a great job of explaining these concepts. Thank you. I'm so glad. I am trying. I do this. I've said this 100 times. I'm going to keep saying it. I will teach as much as I can of information that I could not find when I started tuning. I could not find this information. It made me insane. No one would give me this information. And now that I figured a lot of it out on my own, now I found some books that have some of it, but not all of it. So I'm writing a book. But I couldn't find this information. I'm putting as much out as I can because I don't want people to struggle like I did. So that's why I do this. So that's what I wanted to say about the harmonic series and ratios. Excuse me. We have, if I don't choke, I'll buy your book. Thank you. It's going to be a while. Sparkles. Again, excuse me. Oh my God. Super rookie question. What sequence do you want to walk up the piano with? Walk up the piano with? What do you mean walk up the piano? Walk up the piano. You mean for tuning? Reword that question. I don't think I understand. John, what order? Tuning. Oh yeah. Okay. I'll come back to that. John Fensu. It's quite difficult to learn at first, but the on pitch series is spot on to understand all the overtone series and how to use to tune a piano according to its own inharmonicity. The on pitch series is fabulous. I actually read some of that when I started. It did not give me the information I wanted. It gave me some of the information I wanted. I take that back. It gave me some. There were a lot of things that gave me some of the information I wanted, but there were so many holes. It just didn't work for me. If you make a book in Spanish, I would buy it too. Ooh, that's a really good idea. Oh my God, that would be hard. Luis could make some money. Mi amigo Luis Hernandez, his first language is Spanish. He tries to teach me a little bit. Yo sé 2 o 3 palabras, pero no sé mucho. Hablo mal. What was I going to say? Difficult to learn on pitch? Order. I knew there was a question. Wait, hold on. Barkles, all of the info I keep ingesting is almost assuming that I know more than the basics, so it's immediately confusing. Yes, I get it. My ear can hear what is going on just fine, but the theory is tough. Yeah, I was weird. So my theory knowledge, as far as music theory goes and harmonic series and all that, was crazy strong. I had a very strong theory knowledge, but I was lacking a lot in tuning theory. I was lacking a lot of it, and I couldn't find it. And I had to figure some of it out on my own. Rick Butler was the catalyst. He gave me the missing puzzle pieces I needed. I will be forever in his debt for that. He gave me the pieces I was missing. And then from that point on, once I had a handle on something, I could figure the rest out on my own. And I did. I figured it out. But it is confusing. It just is. For me, the theory is way easier than setting a temperament. I think the actual hands-on doing it is much harder than thinking about it. Which holes didn't cover the on-pitch books and videos? Nothing I'm talking about right now. Okay, I will answer that question with my sequence question. That'll work. I'll be able to answer that. Do you have any tricks for the high treble? Oh, I can talk about the high treble. Let me come back to this though, because temperament sequence and the missing holes are completely parallel. They're almost the same thing. So let me read, make sure I'm not missing anything. Sorry, my face has been gone this whole time. Yeah. Okay. So I've gotten to the point now where I can pretty much use any sequence I want. I had to learn a sequence recently because Rick is using it, and I had to learn to work with some of his students. And I pretty much I did it. I don't love it, but it's a contiguous third style sequence. Here's what I was missing. I know, I can put this in a nutshell. Troubleshooting. I did not understand enough for troubleshoot. You can't just go through a sequence. You have to troubleshoot. And it's one thing to use a check to troubleshoot. That doesn't cut it for me. I really struggled with this. I struggled with this a lot. And I had to find better ways. So, for example, let me think a second. See, it's too hard for me to explain the missing holes because it really is complicated. Fourth. Here's a fourth. It's just a noisy fourth. Anyway, fourth. Inside of a fourth, we have a major third and another major third and 3 minor thirds. Okay. If you move any note in that fourth, it affects the whole thing. It affects more than one note. And I don't mean just the intervals connected to that one note. It affects second and third level down. Okay, I'm picking a fourth because there's less here to talk about. I don't want to talk about a whole octave. It'll take 5 hours. So here's a fourth, major third. That major third has to be faster. It's not right now. Let me slow this one down. It might be wrong, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to speed this one up. Hold on a second. Whoa. That's too fast, but let's leave it for the moment. Okay, so within the fourth, we have 2 major thirds. The upper one has to be faster than the slower one. Okay, now, every minor third, and I'm talking about minor thirds so I can get this compressed. It's too hard to explain when I get spread out. Wait, oh, Adrian, when you say the lower note generally has a head start on inharmonicity, is that not always the case? Say I for some intervals that straddle a bit. Yeah, okay. So it's supposed to always be the case, but it's not. There are exceptions. I have a Sommer piano, vertical piano, that has a huge drop in inharmonicity right before the break, before you hit the wound strings. And it's severe. And I can, if it drops enough, you can tune it, like you can tune a fifth pure at the first and second coincident partial at the same time. You know, it just can get wonky. Ideally, the lower note has a head start all the time. But if I have a drop in inharmonicity, then no, it's different. So I hope that answered your question. And yeah, as you get closer to the tenor break and cross the break, inharmonicity can really get whack, and you've got to compensate for that, which is another thing. Compensating for inharmonicity, troubleshooting, all that. I didn't understand that until I really figured most of it out on my own, and it took a while. But so any minor third connected to a major third has to be faster. That's faster. Boom, slow. Okay, what's wrong? Okay, this is too wide. So either this major third and or this major third is too wide. Remember I said it was too fast? So there you go. There's your evidence. So what do I do about this? I have to retune my major thirds. Not the minor third. I'm not going to tune this minor third. I'm going to retune the major third. So let's do that. Hold on. Dang it. Hold on. It's this piano. It's going to jump on me. Oh, there. Well, I'm going to get the opposite extreme here. So here's... Nope. It's faster. Now my minor thirds have to progress. That's too fast. But okay, within the fourth though, I can put this anywhere I want. I can put that anywhere I want. If I have a fifth, The fifth has 3/4, 4 major thirds, 5 minor thirds. They all interact. And it's a matter of tracing things back at least 3 levels, which I didn't understand. So let's say I have my fifth tuned. Let's say, actually, let me look at this fifth. Oh, look at that. That fourth is way too pure. Am I just gonna move the F sharp or the B? No. This is what I didn't understand. Okay. This F sharp, it depends on what I tuned it from. I want my thirds to progress. Let's say my thirds progress really well and that fourth is pure. Okay. If I raise B, I'm going to speed up my G to B major third. What if I don't want to speed it up? I'll have to raise G. Then I've affected this fourth. I might have to raise C. I might have to go back and check my fifth. Let's say I want to lower F sharp. Now I'm going to speed this up. What if I don't want to speed this up? I might have to lower B flat. What if that fourth is already too close to pure? See what I'm saying? You gotta think way back more. So let's say I don't have room to lower that B flat and I need to lower my F sharp. Okay. I can raise my C if the fifth has room, raise G, then raise B, then fix that fourth. And I've kept the integrity of my major thirds. Things like that. It's troubleshooting. I didn't get it. It's not in books that I can find. Troubleshooting, which is that's the book I'm going to write. So we are at 8:58. Let's see. Wait, when you say the lower note generally has a head start. Oh, that's the one I already said. Did I answer that question, Adrian? I'm going to come back over here. Oh, that's bright. Jeez. Oh, hi. I don't want to make you dizzy. I lost some people. There's only 10 left. I made them bored to death. Oh my gosh. So we have 1 minute. Do you have a question in 1 minute? I hope I answered a lot of the questions. It can get complicated and sometimes, especially if I don't know you, I walk a really thin line between trying to not give too much information and often I do give too much information and it just happens. And then sometimes I'm trying not to give too much information. I won't give enough. And so it's always hard if I don't know my audience. But anywho, oh, yes, it's something I'll scratch my head over for a while and get back to you. Okay. I believe it's at the core of the negative positive interval inharmonicity. Just know there can be inharmonicity shifts and you deal with them. I have talked about that in other live streams. Maybe I can talk about it again in my next one. If you look at my other live streams, there's thumbnails and you'll see 1 or 2 that'll talk about inharmonicity shifts. And you especially run into them when you're tuning outside of your temperament, moving downward or at the lower part of your temperament. And there's ways to deal with them. And I didn't understand that either. And I had to figure that out, which I'm really pleased. I can tune. Oh my God, I can tune. It took me forever. Let's see. Yes, on this. No, I love this. Yay, I'm so glad. Gives me a preview as to where my thirds assignment is headed. Oh, amazing. I forgot who I was talking to. Okay, good. Yeah, it's getting there. I start out with, that's how I teach. So if someone wants lessons, I teach, I start out, well, first we learn basics, and how much time we spend on basics depends on how much I think you need to review or how, it depends on how strong your fundamentals in theory are and how much you hear. If you can hear fast beginning intervals right away, we can kind of move on more quickly. Otherwise, we need to spend more time on it to practice hearing. But we start with kind of some of the things like fundamentals. We start with fundamentals, then we move to mini temperaments, and we start with a major third, fourth, fifth, sixth, octave, and then the mid-range. And we just take a little bit of a time because the number of options, I see the number of options as the number of intervals in a section. So a major third only has 3. A fourth, what was a fourth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A fourth has 6. A fifth has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. A sixth has something like 23, and an octave has something like 38 choices, intervals you're working with. So the more intervals you're working with, the more complicated it gets. So I like to make mini temperaments first, learn basic, troubleshooting with smaller, fewer choices, and then you get the concepts. And then as you build it, it makes so much more sense to me. That's just how I teach. Jappel, J Apple Films. I'm gonna call you Jappel. Jappel, you've answered my question, yay, of where I should start. Oh, good. I didn't even know that. Without me even asking. Oh, I'm so glad. Time to learn much more theory. Go to my playlist. It starts out stupid basic, but it gets harder faster. And I do need to make some more videos in there. It's lacking, but it covers a lot. So go to my playlist. Barkle's troubleshooting, is not in the books. Exactly. It needs to be in the books. I like if-then statements, and that's how I teach. If then this. If that, then this. I like that. And I try to teach if-then statements that involve thinking at least 3 levels down. Thanks so much for the stream. Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad. Great balance of info. Don't second guess it. Thank you. It's always random. I never know what I'm going to talk about until it starts. I have no idea. I have no plans. Adrian, would love to dive deeper into that. It's infamously difficult to explain some of this stuff. Yes, and you articulate it so extremely well. I'm so glad. I am so glad. I think I've got a really good understanding of it now. And so I'm going to try to share as much of it as I possibly can. I'm just really busy, so it's going to take me a while before the book is done, but I'm getting there. K, I didn't even, K, I'm going to call you K. K, would you do RPT exam tips and recommendations? Oh, video for all RPT exam tips. Video for all, maybe. It's a thought. I got to think about that, though, because I can't. There's some information is very public and some is not. So I will, let me think about that. RPT exam tips and recommendations video for oral tuning. Let me think about it. I'll try. Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Sending you an email to follow up. Okay, great. Alan. Hi, Alan. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, that would be amazing. Okay, cool. I will work on it. Let me think about it and work on it. I am going to be at the next convention, and a miracle has happened. I am not going to be doing tuning exams at all, but I'm going to be doing tech exams. So it's going to be like totally backwards from what I'm used to. So I'm going to be on the exam floor again a lot, not the whole time, but a lot. And I'm going to be helping with tech exams. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Thank you all very much for coming. I really appreciate it. It helps me build my channel, and building my channel is what I want to do to try to put this information out there, because it's too hard. So I can't put all my troubleshooting information out there because some of it is, it would not be good to the Butler School for me to do that. So I can't do that. I can teach it, but I can't put it out publicly. So that's just, oops, I just knocked something down. That's the way it's going to be for a while. But I'm writing a book. So we'll see. All right. Thank you all very much. Hope to see you next time. Happy tuning. Bye. You're welcome.